Okay, let's check out Terminator 2 for the NES. Developed by Acclaim Studios and published by the infamous LJN, Terminator 2 Judgement Day, released in 1992, is a platform puzzle game based off of the movie, where you actually get to play out key events from the film as Arnie himself, the T-101, who is out to try and save Sarah Connor's son John, who is destined to grow up and lead the resistance to victory against the machines. After failing to kill Sarah Connor, Skynet sends an advanced Terminator to kill her son, the T-1000, who is much more dangerous and powerful than the T-101 could ever be. First things first, the intro and title screens are awesome. Acclaim obviously have done their homework and have even added in some cool cutscenes and stills which mirror the actors to a T. Starting up the game, however, can be very confusing what to do, as most of the time the game won't let you progress until you have completed certain objectives. I will say that this first level is not fun at all. I run around killing Bruce Springsteen lookalikes and long-haired biker guys, all the while jumping over motorbikes. Finally, I follow the arrows into the bar. Now, do you remember that scene in the movie where Arnie punches the guy multiple times in the family jewels to get his clothes, his boots and his motorcycle? No? Me either. But somehow, doing just that allowed me to get all the items I needed. Now, the next level, the chase sequence, definitely had potential, but all too often the level kills you outright until you learn to shoot backwards at the T-1000's truck. I did actually start to adapt to the level, but as soon as I did, it was over in a jiffy. I would have loved it to be much longer. The next few levels are absolutely brilliant, however, and simply involve performing certain tasks, such as finding elevator keycards to rescue Sarah and gathering bombs to blow up Cyberdyne systems. Once you get into the swing of things, it's not actually a terrible game. Don't get me wrong, it's not one of the best platform games I've ever played, but I don't think it's one of the worst either. The game follows the source material pretty well and actually tries to do something slightly different in the levels rather than shoot and move on, so kudos to Acclaim for inputting some innovation. The problem is that this game only gives you 4 lives, and most of the time you can die instantly. I did find this slightly unfair, as I remember thinking, come on, it's the Terminator. Luckily, this game is generous enough to spawn you right back at the point that you died at, but by the time you figured out why you died, it's game over and there's no continues. You see, it's not the actual levels that I have a problem with, it's just that the game is so vague on what you need to do, and you never have enough lives to figure it out. However, once you do eventually figure it out, then this game starts to open up a little more. As I said, it's not a bad game, it's playable, a little tricky, but once you have that eureka moment, then that's where this game hooks you in. I had to use game facts occasionally, but I did find the requirements in the game wholly appropriate once I thought about it and worked out what to do. I actually had fun with this game, and strangely enough, I also never expected to enjoy it as much as I did. Now, those are probably some weird statements about a game published by LJN. The controls are really good in the platform sections, and you can actually zip through levels pretty fast. Arnie's jump though is terrible, and with his limited range he can't jump very high. It's not too much of a problem though, as many of the levels require him to run and jump, and that at least fits the aesthetics of each level. The motorbike level controls are just awful. I mean, they should have at least give you an option to speed up, but you're stuck with moving left and right. And this is clunky and stiff at times, and going back to my point about dying instantly, that can happen, and it's extremely frustrating when it does. Bang into a door or car, slow down too much, and you have to start again. Credit where credit is due, however, you would think that if you run out of ammo then you're a sitting duck, but you can just as easily punch your enemies out of the way, and chances are if you get too trigger happy on your first playthrough then that's what you'll be doing. However, it's a good way of learning about ammo conservation. The game also has power-ups to collect, such as extra lives, health and ammo, so at the very least you're not totally defenseless. The music is mostly non-existent here, loud on some levels and quiet on others. I get that Acclaim are going for atmosphere, but I would have preferred a little bit of consistency. As I said, the music isn't really bad, it just needs to be amped up here and there. The graphics though are really good, and even though the last level was a pain to get through, I loved the recreation of the steel mill and the lava. Again, you get recreated stills of key scenes from the movie and the dialogue for the most part, so it was clear that the devs wanted an accurate Terminator 2 experience. One part though was really annoying. In the Cyberdyne systems level you have to collect 10 barrels from multiple floors. Once you have found 3 you can't pick up any more and must deposit them on the 6th floor to be able to collect some more. Once all 10 have been collected, then the game decides to mess with you. Now, from what I understand, you're supposed to put all 10 barrels in the same room using the arrows. However, you have to keep going back to the deposit area to keep picking them up. Now, I'm not questioning the logic of this, as it does make sense, but first time round I had no clue what I was doing and would re-enter the room only to find I couldn't lay any more barrels down. It got very confusing. Also, the last level has a crawl section where you can fall through a solid platform, which seriously impedes your progress as you try and climb to the top to stop the T-1000. So, to wrap up, Terminator 2 is kind of okay. It's not awful, it's just hard to figure out what to do. So, I would recommend using a walkthrough to help ease you in. Honestly, once you figure this game out, it becomes somewhat playable. However, despite its problems, I can recommend this game. However, it's one you have to stick with again to gain any enjoyment from it. Whilst it's no masterpiece, it resembles a video game at least. It just could have done with more lives, and continues as I feel this is why people can't really get into this game. Once you are killed off quite quickly and unsure what to do, it's only natural you'd want to turn this game off, and it's a shame as some fun can be gained from it. Thank you very much for watching my review. If you've enjoyed it, why not smash that like button and subscribe, because you'll really be helping my channel to grow and you'll be instantly notified every time I upload a new video. Take care and I'll see you next time.